Hello, Victor. This is Maharani.
Hey, Maharani.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you. Maharani, Samantha, were you able to rename that phone number for Maharani?
I will. Hold on.
Thank you. If you're calling to the meeting on the conference, controls were joining from the landline or your mobile or calling by dial number. To hear all the commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will run this meeting is as follows. Code of conduct for meetings, penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or languages, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban of the participant. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If in-person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities shall be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have any questions. Committee members will signify that they have questions by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in the new business or addressed at the next meeting, granted there's time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussion, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussions after each presentation, agenda item, and will conclude with the decision to vote on the recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions related to meeting software or to a process, please use the chat function or raise hand function now to contact the deputy district manager. I guess everyone gets it. So let me briefly take attendance for public safety and quality of life. I'll start first alphabetic order. Myrna Calderon.
Myrna Calderon is present.
Manjor Chowdhury. Lowell Green.
Lowell Green is present.
Samantha Savatzis.
Samantha Shuvatzis is present.
Maharani Sivajan. I think I heard her earlier. Maharani, you're still there? Yeah, welcome back. And then Victor Saldana present. So we have enough members and we need one. Okay, so I just want to open up to the committee, see if you had any questions or any feedback from our previous minutes from our March meeting. No? Great. Can I get a second to approve the meetings minutes from last month?
I, Samantha, approve.
Thank you. Great. So let's move on to our agenda. Let's see. So we'll start off where we're on time with NYPD 52nd Precinct. Do we have a representative from the 52nd Precinct? Do you see crime prevention? NYPD, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the air. Hello, how are you, Victor?
Who is this?
Oh, Officer Costa.
Yeah, Officer Costa. Great. I'll open the floor to you if you can give us the latest updates on what's happening in our community.
Hello, everyone. So again, for those who don't know me, I'm Officer Acosta. I'm the crime prevention officer in the 5-2. I'm just going to go over a little bit about what's going on with the crime. We had a little bit of a spike in February, and things gotten a little bit better in March and April. Just to go over the numbers a little bit, when it comes to murders, we have 0 from last year to now, the 28-day period, which is great. Rapes, we are up 2 from last year, mostly domestics. Robberies, we're down, which is great news. We had a big spike in the last couple of months. We're down by 8 from 2022 to now. Felony assaults are down by 9. Burglaries, there's been a little bit of spike in burglaries, which I'm going to talk about. We're up by 2 in burglaries, and grand larcenies, we're up by 7 from last year. And grand larceny of the autos, we're also down by 5. So that's good. We had a significant spike in GLAs in the past couple of months, so now they've been down. The grand larcenies, one thing I wanted to bring attention to everybody is we're up 17 from 5. A lot of them are just property being left in autos. Seeing a very, very big spike in that. People leaving laptops, purses, electronic devices, and money, which has kind of drawn our grand larceny numbers a little bit high. So that's been going on a little bit. I've been trying to get out there to see if I could spread the word to people to not leave those personal belongings in vehicles. Just a little bit about the patterns going on. We had a couple of patterns going on. Pattern number 16, which was something that started in February. It had to do with a lot of bodegas in the 5-2, specifically gas stations, specifically on Jerome Avenue was hit back in February. We haven't seen nothing in the 5-2 since. We've seen some burglary patterns, and I wanted to bring the attention of everybody, like the businesses need to be kept, the communities are eyes and ears. If they could just kind of keep an eye on the businesses. We've seen burglaries in commercial construction sites, and we also seen one in our houses of worship, which was actually something that happened in Sector A. Was one area, one specific mosque that was hit twice by the same perpetrator. If you know any houses of worship that are just kind of concerned about this, in that specific one, I've done a security survey in that one and a few other ones as well. So that's just something to keep eyes and ears on. Any suspicious activity you see, any people that don't belong, especially late hours of the night. If you see a store closed and anybody lingering in front, usually a lot of the burglaries are happening because they're breaking the front with any type of object and getting in there. And so if you see suspicious activity in those late hours of the night, don't be afraid to call 911 and just get the cops over there to swing by and see what's going on. A little bit about what we talked about last time, and in the last meeting we spoke about some traffic issues along Fordham Road. I brought it to the attention of my traffic sergeant who relayed the message, and since the 28-day period, a combination of our traffic guys and patrol have written over 501 summonses up to this date, to the 12th. I have them all along Fordham Road. Fordham and Cedric was one big area. They've written numerous summonses over there. Fordham and University was a big area. A few on Fordham and Jerome, even though Fordham and Jerome is a little bit harder because the cops are more visible and it's hard to kind of set up an area for them to put up a checkpoint. But they have done 2 of them there through the month, so that was progress that we made from last month, from the last meeting. Another thing I remember brought up at the last meeting was the vehicle break-ins along the Sector C area, Mashula Parkway, Briggs Avenue. I did take a little deep look into it. There hasn't been a steady pattern with vehicles getting their wheels and things removed. I remember mentioning that it's kind of like a little bit of a thing going on because, right now, I think catalytic converters are still being stolen, but they're not worth as much anymore right now if they cash them in. So I think a lot of these perpetrators are going for wheels and they're going for any type of parts in the cars. I brought it up to, the NCOs just to see if they can get out there a little bit. You're going to see more officers out in that area because you do, the warmer months when people are out there on Mashula Parkway, you're going to see more presence of our conditions teams and things like that. So that's everything I have. If anybody has any questions and specifics, you can let me know.
Thank you, Officer Costa. So I think it's good to hear these stats, and I guess I just have 2 follow-up items. The first one, we got an email from our deputy district manager about some implementation of robots for NYPD. Is that something that's coming to our district as well? And how's that going to be implemented? And then the second one, I think we got a report that the NYPD has taken over, or they're using some lots next to the Harlem River, off, I believe off Bailey, more to like off I-87. The Mayor Deans want to see if there's any information about that.
I haven't heard anything about the lots, or I saw the thing about the robots. We haven't gotten anything yet that's gonna come over here. It might be a pilot program as of right now, and then that's something that later on will probably be implemented precinct by precinct. I'll look deeper into that. I believe that's gonna be more like maybe a Manhattan thing for now, and then they'll slowly release it to the boroughs, and we'll get more information on how it works. So once I get a little updates, I'll bring it up at the next meetings. In terms of the lot thing, I haven't heard anything, but I'll also look into that as well. It's definitely not something I don't think that involves us right now.
Thank you. And then I do want to open up to committee members, see if there's any questions or items that you heard in your neighborhood that you want to bring up to NYPD 52nd Precinct. Okay, open up to you, Myrna, first.
Yeah, hi. Hi, 5-2.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. So I'm very concerned. I walk down Bailey Avenue and I continue to see the mobile homes. And people obviously are living there. And I know this is also for parks and sanitation, but it's really a problem. You cannot walk down Bailey Avenue without being confronted by garbage. The mobile homes are putting their garbage in black plastic bags and they're just throwing them to the curb. I see that there was an attempt to clean up a little area next to one of our buildings on 2455 Sedgwick Avenue. And that's already garbage in there because they throw it from those mobile homes. They also, the taxis also throw it. The food trucks also throw it. At night, there's dumping. I know there's lights put by that part, but it's the whole Bailey Avenue. And I know, and I see our friend, Mr. Guarino on, there's graffiti all along that brick now that's adjacent to the highway. I mean, we have to do something. Quality of life is very important. And again, that they've got to do something about those mobile vans. And now we also have, on top of the mobile vans, the mobile homes, we also have the tractor trailers that park there. It's a real problem. And I know you're, oh, and let's not forget the car washes once again. They have set up shop. And in fact, I know that's part of Sedgwick Avenue going on the other side of Fordham Road, maybe the 4-6 precinct, but it's all of our problems because we have a school goes down Sedgwick. The children can't walk on the sidewalk because of the car washes. So the kids are walking in the street, the parents are walking in the streets. Up by us, there's a problem with the car washes on the sidewalk. You can't walk down the sidewalk. Something has to be done. So that's my 2 cents again.
Yeah, so what I'll do personally, I'll go out there one of these. Let me go take a look. Again, that's something a control will have to do it like with a controlled operation. But, our NCOs send even the health trucks are creating like an we can also bring that up to the health department. I think the health department will shoot out very quickly and address that. I'll take a personal look. I'll bring it up to my commander, Adam, and we'll see what we could do for that. I'll have an update on that for you at the next meeting. Hopefully we could do something about it like we did with the traffic condition and see if it'll improve.
I appreciate that because it is a health issue because they're actually throwing human feces in those. I hate to be, some people haven't had dinner yet, but that's what they're doing in those bags.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I'll take a look at it personally. Yeah, I'm gonna go out. Yeah, go out to
Thank you, Myrna.
time during the week, and then I'll
Officer,
take no myself.
yeah, you're going on, maybe a lot of background noise, Officer Costa.
Yeah,
So, we'll take Myrna, we'll connect off. Officer. Because in our section, there is a homeless encampment, we submit tickets and they've been closed. And that there's no encampment, so, if you have tickets, we can forward that to Officer Costa, so we can escalate further. Next, I guess, members of the committee, anyone from public safety and quality left before I open it to the rest of the committees and then to the public? Okay, so Chad Royer, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself.
Hey, Victor, good evening. Thanks for the report. Two quick things I want to bring up. The Major Deegan Expressway and 207 intersection. The intersection and the one before it, I'm just wondering if PD can give a little more attention in that area when it comes to the gridlocking of traffic. My concern is that those areas are very difficult to cross sometimes, and there's always evidence of an accident. And something that I brought up previously, the presence of the motorcycles on the sidewalk, taking up space where it makes it difficult at times for folks to walk on Fordham, Concourse, and the Kingsbridge Road area.
Yeah, so definitely call that in over 311. We do remove the bikes off the sidewalk if they're unregistered. They're registered, we do summons them. We recently, this wasn't been posted up, but my commander, they did a whole, they're doing operations basically borough-wide with, our higher-ups and our highway units, things like that, and they're removing a lot of bikes off the street. There's just so many of them. We removed recently in the last week and a half about 31. Still going. We get them daily. There are a lot of bikes. We do address them. We do remove them off the chain. Even if it's a motorcycle, it doesn't have to be a moped or anything like a dirt bike. If it has no plates or anything like that, we can remove it. So we always say just put it over 311. If we don't, the sectors don't usually go. We do our controlled operations maybe about once a week or so, and we'll go and we'll remove those bikes. So you got to put it over the one so we know where to go. Because if we see that there's 311 complaints in that area, if it's not the same day, we're gonna actually set up shop and get all our resources over there. And we literally take the bikes right off the street. We don't even if it's covered chain, they come with us. So whenever you see that, just put it over the 311. Again, I can't show you the pictures right now. I don't have it on me, but we have tons of bikes in the back of our precinct right now. Our commander is very adamant about removing them as much as he can. So,
Good.
and there's more to come. You're going to see a lot more in the summer. I'd say you're going to see in June, July, 40, 50 bikes, maybe every other day being taken. So that is a big deal. We're on it. We do what we can. So
Thank you. Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
I would like to add in there that, if you can just nudge the NYPD highway unit, especially on West Fordham and Cedar Avenue, there's that gridlock, especially in the mornings with BX12 sometimes gets delayed because of that gridlock. So going into Manhattan, so if there's a way to get the morning and during the rush hour in the morning and the afternoons to help move that traffic, it will be great. I know we're on time, so I'm going to take two more. I do FDNY apologies if you can give us another 5 minutes while we conclude NYPD, and then we'll get started. So I know AJ, your hand was first, and then we'll go to Mr. Guarino. So AJ, I'll open it up for you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. There was recently protest in front of the 5-2. I wanted to know if there's any comment over that. When the community calls for help, we shouldn't be killed. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Officer Costa, is there any comments about those recent events? Any communication for the public?
Yeah, I don't have anything on this time on that incident. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. And then Mr. Guarino, I'll ask you to lower your hand and unmute yourself.
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. Second thing, just a quick question. Does that include e-bikes? Any type of moped or thing with on the sidewalks? Officer?
Yeah, anything that's chained to like those those park, like put it right on the signs and things like that.
Mhm.
Just put it over. We'll take a look at it, and then some of them I'm not sure if they can put a plate on it or not. But if you see that they're chained to any type of city property or even private property that's unwanted, just give us a call on that, because lots of times they're just chaining them up in little corners where they think we don't see it, and they think we can't remove the chain. But we have specific guys that'll come and look, and if 9 out of 10 times they're removable bikes, we're gonna remove it. If we don't have the resources that day, it gets brought up to my commander. We come either the next day or something like that. That bike is still there. We're gonna remove it. It's just a matter of having resources and things. Having trucks to put them in. Just kind of has to be a little organized. But yeah, anything you see, if it's a bike that's a nuisance, just put it over. So at least we know where to go.
That's great to hear. Now, according to Murder's comment there, the summer is not even here, and I emphasize this more than many times. It's that a lot of community people sit back and tolerate so much bullshit from other people. And I can't understand how all these parents with their children have to walk in the street and they're not you, and everybody's got a cell phone and they ain't calling 311. I seen the same thing early in the morning when all the rats are popping out of the hose and people go screaming in the phone to whoever they're talking to. Never does anybody make a report. And you know what's happening is you're getting what you deserve. If you don't speak up to defend yourself, you're going to get walked all over. I do not tolerate any kind of bull on my block where I live. I invested in a house and my neighbors know who I am. They know I've been here for 18 years and they want hell to be raised. I raised the highest hell here. So all I'm saying is you got to get out there and change people, and you got to speak up. People wait for somebody else to call 311, and that's why we have these major problems. The second thing is family members know that they have mentally challenged personnel living with them, and they tolerate it for 2 or 3 or 5 or 18 years. And then when something happens and the police show up, never knowing what the hell is going on, something goes wrong, somebody dies, and then they want to blame the police. But for all them years that guy lived with that family, where was the help that they were looking out for? You got hospitals, you got the fire department, you got family members, you got to reach out for help. Then when the police show up, immediately they want to crucify the police for something that could have been taken care of many years ago. Okay, I had lived with mentally ill people and we dealt with it. We reached out for help and we kept doing that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your feedback and comments. Yahara, I do see your hands up. Is there anything that can be asked in the chat, because we are running delayed with our presentation for FDNY? Is it okay?
I put it in the chat, actually.
Thank you, Yahara. So thank you, Officer Costa. Again, thank you to NYPD 52nd Precinct for all the work you guys do. I do want to open up to FDNY. I'm not sure who we have on the line. FDNY, are you still there?
I'm here. How are you? Well,
So I'll pass the floor to you.
thank you.
Feel free to share your screen.
Not a problem. My name is Captain Delegati from Fire Safety Education Unit, located over in Bayside, Queens at Port Taunton. And basically our unit is comprised of veteran firefighters who are taking a break at the firehouse for whatever reason they're here. Maybe they just want to teach everybody about fire safety education. Maybe they've been out in the field and basically we've all fought fires before. And, and most of these fires, sometimes, we'll fight the fire, we'll be there, we'll pack up. We'll pack up, we'll go back to the firehouse. We'll discuss everything about the fire, different types of tactics that we did. Of things that might have prevented the fire in the first place. And, but that's as far as it goes with us. But you ever wonder, like, what do the people do? They, basically lost basically everything in their home, okay, because of a fire. And, it turns people's lives upside down, especially if you have children, school-age children. Now, where basically your school that the children attend, could be like a 5-minute walk. Now, if you stay in that same school, it'll be a half an hour drive. Or it's easier to say, we'll just transfer the kid to another school. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, especially for the child. Learning in a different environment now, making new friends. Okay, it just turns people's lives upside down. And then look at the adults too. Maybe where they lived could be closer to their job. Now they have to basically find another place to live. And now they're not as close to their job as they were. Okay, and they have to travel. It turns people's lives upside down. So that's why we basically come to the basically full time. We teach about fire safety education and all different things about how fires start. How people can stop or how people can prevent fires in their own home. Like when we talk about fire safety, we talk about the 3 P's of fire safety. We talk about prevention. It's all up to us, okay? It's all up to us. We talk about protection, early detection. Smoke alarms. Smoke alarms saves lives. Okay, it saves lives, it's early detection. And then we talk about planning. Just like school-age children have fire drills at home, at school, have fire drills at home also. Okay, have fire drills at home also. I'm gonna give the phone number for the Sound the Alarm program. If one person wants to take it down, maybe the event organizer, and then spread it to everybody, I really appreciate that. Okay, so let me know when you're ready to call. The program is called Sound the Alarm. Okay, we work in conjunction with the American Red Cross. And either Red Cross volunteers come to your home and they'll install smoke alarms in your home. Doesn't matter if you already have them, you're not the only oldest. We'll install the smoke alarms and they're for free. Okay, they're for free. So it's Sound the Alarm program. And the number is 1-877 Red Cross. That's 1-877 REDCROS. And leave off the last S for safety. Numerically, that number is 1-877-733-2767. That's 1-877-733-2767. It's a great program. We'll install as many as you need in your home, even if you have older ones. We'll replace them. It's a great program. Okay, it's a great program. When we talk about fire safety education, prevention, okay. First, we talk about a little bit about carelessness with cigarette smoking. Okay? Even if you don't smoke yourself, maybe you feel the people that still live in your home and smoke, please let them know. When you smoke, please use a sturdy ashtray. Please, if you have to smoke, don't smoke while you're laying down. Especially if you're consuming some sort of alcoholic beverage or taking some sort of medication that makes you drowsy. Also, if you smoke and cigarette butts, you put them into the ashtray. Before you discard those ashes into the ashtray, pour a little water in it. Okay, douse those cigarette butts. Because if you just throw cigarette butts into a waste paper basket, you can smolder in there. Okay, it's smolder in there, especially if you have, if you have paper in there and stuff, so that cause a fire. All right. If basically smoking, please smoke. I mean, if you want to send it outside, smoke outside. If anybody in your home uses supplemental oxygen, please don't smoke next to them, or don't smoke at all in that household, because that oxygen could be an accelerant, okay? And can basically cause, a blowtorch effect, right? And can cause problems. Also, when we talk about prevention, okay, we sometimes fires occur for carelessness with cooking. Okay, cooking safety. If you're gonna cook something, make sure you pay attention to it. Okay. Try to keep something with you to remind you that you have something on the stove. Okay. Different situations can happen where, a fire can be caused by numerous things that are carelessly used. Okay. You get home late at night, maybe from after work. Okay, maybe get home late, maybe get home at midnight after work, you're tired. So you put something on the stove. You put something on the stove to cook. Now you go into another room to watch a little TV, maybe watch the news. Now you light up a cigarette. Maybe you're tired. You just came home from work. So now you have something on the stove and you have a cigarette. Okay. If you fall asleep basically on the couch or you have something on the stove, that could cause a fire in your home. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. While you're cooking, if you're frying something and the grease catches fire while you're cooking, please, while you're cooking, it's a good idea to basically use an oven mitt. Okay, have it handy. Also, a tight fitting lid. And a container of baking soda. With the tight fitting lid in the oven mitt, if there is a grease fire, what I don't want anybody to do is I don't want anybody to pick it up and start running towards the sink. Okay, because it just made a small fire into a bigger fire, because you're introducing oxygen into the fire. So, with the gloved hands and the tight fitting lid, the fire is small enough, just put it right over. Put it right over. Okay, it takes the oxygen component out of the fire. The fire loves oxygen. The more oxygen you give it, the bigger it gets. Now, we were talking about children before. Now, they believe my table here is the stove top. Now, I have the handle facing out. Okay, I have the handle facing out. How easy is it for a child or even to come across, grab the handle, and now it falls on their head? Suppose there's grease or hot water in there. It could cause permanent disfigurement. Okay? It might be a trip to the burn center, not only the emergency room, maybe to the burn center. Okay, with hot grease and hot water or boiling water. So while you're cooking, please leave the handle in. Okay, leave it in. In all instances, if the fire is small enough, you can, if you choose. If you choose, you can use baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate is the ingredient in baking soda, okay? It's a dry powder. It will smother the fire. You're not introducing liquid into the grease, okay? If you choose also, this one's white, but usually most of the time they're red. It's called an ABC fire extinguisher. Category A, Category B, and Category C type of fires. Category A type of fires are ordinary combustibles. Okay, paper, clothing, plants, wood. Okay, Category B, a liquid fuel. A liquid fuel. Grease that you use to cook with is a liquid fuel. Okay. And we don't want to introduce water into it, any liquid. We want to smother it. Okay, take the oxygen, don't put it out of it. And then category C type of fires. Energized electrical equipment. Okay. Your toaster that's plugged in is energized electrical equipment. You don't want to introduce water to that because you can electrocute yourself. So remember, you can purchase an extinguisher. It usually comes in packs of 2. Okay, and remember, category A, category B, category C type of fires. Also, we have literature, okay? We have literature on fdnysmart.org, which basically has everything that I'm speaking about, okay? And it also tells you how to use the fire extinguisher. Okay, I'm sure it's going to have instructions on the box, but so you can read it over, and it'll probably tell you to hang it in a spot where you can find it. So don't bury it under your sink, because if there is an emergency, okay, if there is an emergency, we don't want you looking for it. We want you to be able to grab that and use it forthwith. Okay, and what the instructor will probably tell you how to use it is, remember the word PASS. PASS. The P stands for pulling the pin. Okay, you pull the pin out. The A stands for aiming at the base of the fire. Okay, not to chase the flames up high. Aim at the base of the fire. The first S stands for squeezing the handle. And the last S stands for sweeping side to side with your back to the way out, just in case you're not able to put the fire out. Okay? We don't want the fire to be in between you and your way out. But by all means, get your family out and have somebody call 911. Okay? Get your family out and have somebody call 911. And we'll show up and we'll basically look for extension. You know, if it's on the stove, we'll make sure it extends into the ducts. All right, with the least amount of damage as possible. We use our thermal imaging cameras and point it towards the wall to see if there's any heat spots. Okay, and we use that same piece of equipment when there's electrical fire on the back of your wall too, to make sure that the fire didn't spread from say that outlet up the wall. Okay, because you know we want to make sure the scene is safe, and we don't want to go up an hour or two later on while there's a second alarm now in your building, which just started out as a little smoldering socket. Okay, so like I said before, the extinguisher does have instructions on it, but also you can read those instructions on fdnysmart.org, okay, with all literature. Okay, we have it in all different languages. And we have videos on all different topics. Okay. What I didn't mention before was cigarette smoking, and we were talking about the kids. Cigarettes. Okay, cigarettes. What do we use to light cigarettes? Matches and lighters. Okay, please keep matches and lighters away from children. Okay, away from small children. And we teach that to the kids all the time. You know, because one match can cause a lot of, one lit match can cause a lot of devastation. All right, it can cause a lot of devastation. So please, we have to be careful with these things. Keep them locked away, keep them up high where they can't reach them, but please keep them away from the children. Also, things that cause fires in homes, unfortunately. Candles. Lit candles, okay? Candles are nice, they have a nice aroma, but if we do use them, make sure we use a safe holder, safe sturdy holder so it doesn't fall over. Since it is a live flame, please keep it at the minimum of at least 3 feet away from something combustible. All right? And, you know, something like drapery, plants, especially dry plants, okay? Sheets, bedding, stuff like that, things that you might find, you know, in, you know, in your bedroom or in your dining room, okay? Especially if you have a live plant on your dining room table or even on the kitchen table. Now, that plant could be a little bit dried out. So if a leaf falls off of that, maybe you left the window open and maybe you blew that little leaf off, that lands on top of that candle. It can't cause a fire in your home. Okay? Can't cause a fire. So keep it at least, like I said, a minimum of 3 feet away from anything combustible. Okay? And also keep it supervised. Okay? If you're gonna leave the room, please extinguish it. Okay? Please extinguish it. Especially say if you have pets or even children, all right, and they grab it, they knock it over. That causes a fire in your home also. Okay, so you have to be careful. You know, there are safer alternatives than, you know, live lit candle. You know, they have the battery operated ones that have the aroma also, if you choose to use it, okay? All right, so we went through cigarettes, we went through cooking, we went through candles, how about electrical safety? Okay, electrical safety. All right, if you have an outlet and it has 2 plugs, please don't piggyback on the plugs. Don't plug too many things into it. I know people like to use those power strips, but it does take a lot of energy out of that wall, a lot of voltage. And if you do choose to use one, make sure you check up on it every once in a while. Okay, make sure that it doesn't discolor. Make sure there's no electrical burning smell coming out of it. Okay, especially if you have it basically underneath your computer and stuff, your workstation. Okay, keep an eye on that every once in a while. All right, be careful with that. Unfortunately, and you know, like I said, we go all over the city, and you know, we talk about fire safety all over the city, and there's different types of structures. And you know, some of the structures could be very old. And maybe the electric in there isn't updated. You know, where some places might have 4 outlets in, basically 4 outlets in one room, one on each wall, and some may not. And unfortunately, people might resort to extension cords. Okay, they might resort to extension cords. I mean, maybe not like on a day like today, but you know, during the winter, when people resort to space heaters, all right. This little space heater over here is an appliance. This is an appliance. It makes something happen. makes this hot, it's more which produces heat. And same thing in the summer. Air conditioners. Air conditioners has a motor in it, which basically makes something cool. That's an appliance. So with the space heaters, we always say, make sure there's a button underneath it, that if it does fall, if we have erected on a flat surface, if it falls over, make sure it falls off, it shuts off automatically. Okay? Hopefully the weather's gonna be getting better, we don't even need these for the rest of the year, but it's always good to, talk about it anyway. Now during the summer, air conditioners. Air conditioners, they use a lot of voltage. Okay? They use a lot of voltage, so it needs its own dedicated outlet. All right. And even if, say, if the air conditioner doesn't reach the outlet that you want to use, because you have the air conditioner in your favorite window, you may have to relocate that air conditioner to another window, which is closer to the outlet, so you don't have to use an extension cord, because it can cause a fire. All right. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I mean, I can tell everybody, yeah, you'll have to hire a licensed electrician to put another outlet in your home. I know it's costly, but this can save your life. Okay, this can save your life. Same thing with other types of appliances, refrigerators, dishwashers, washing machines. Okay, washing machines. Same thing, those are major appliances. They're major appliances, and they use a lot of electricity. Okay, it needs its own outlet. It needs its own outlet. Okay. Part of electrical safety. Okay, part of electrical safety are everybody's phone. Okay, cell phones, laptops, tablets, e-mobility devices, e-bikes, and e-bike batteries. Okay. With the cell phone. Okay, please use the charger that's recommended for the device. Okay, try not to use an aftermarket charger. Okay, they might be cheaper, but it can be dangerous. And I found out this for myself too. I mean, one time driving the car. We're driving the car, basically going on a long trip, going upstate, got off the freeway, pulled into a general store. They were selling the chargers that plug into the dashboard. And they were dirt cheap. I was like, wow, these are a lot cheaper than the ones in Queens. So I bought a few of them. Had that thing plugged into my dashboard. Had my phone plugged into it. I don't know, less than a mile, maybe 2 miles. All of a sudden, I started smelling a smoke. I started smelling, the scent of smoke coming basically out of my dashboard. Right? There was a reason why it was cheap. Okay? It was too good to be true. All right. Sometimes you get what you pay for. What I didn't do was I didn't look to see if there was a favorite 2 letters. UL. Underwriters Laboratory. That means it's been tested. Okay, it's been tested for what it's supposed to be used for. All right. So I learned my lesson. So if you're going to charge your phone, your laptop, your tablet, okay, please, if you can charge it during the day and you can keep an eye on it, okay, that'd be fantastic. Put it on a flat surface, not on top of your bed. Now realistically, most people do charge them overnight. And they do, that's just the way it is. With these, okay, with our cell phones. Okay, but it can be dangerous, yes, but this doesn't, the battery, the rechargeable in here doesn't carry the same amount of voltage, or whatever you want to call it, that's in an e-bike. Okay, that's in an e-bike. So, when we charge, if we have to charge our e-bikes, please don't, I know, some people don't have a choice, but there's been numerous fires over the past few years where people have died. Okay, people have died because that e-bike was charged. Okay, maybe with an aftermarket charger, that's something the fire marshal can figure out. Basically our fire marshal's unit is basically the detective unit, basically they put up a crime scene, because that's what it is. It's a crime scene that where the fire was, and they do the investigation. Okay, it does take a little while. They can't just figure things out overnight. Okay, because it is an ongoing investigation. But a lot of times they'll say, but if it's obvious that there's a bike, an e-bike sitting there in the rubble, and it was charging, that was the cause. Okay, unfortunately, like I said, these batteries carry a lot of voltage. Okay, a lot of power, a lot of energy. They get so hot. They get so hot where anything around it can also catch fire. Okay? When we extinguish the fire, we have to kind of change our tactics around too. We just had new tactics on how to fight the fire with these e-bikes, because we can tell, because the room gets so hot where it's almost an untenable situation for us, where we're basically stretching numerous hand lines where normally you just take one. Okay, normally we just take one, so we have to use more resources. And unfortunately, also, a lot of people that are in those apartments, all right, and if they're trapped, it could be fatal. Okay, it could be fatal because the fire spreads quickly with that type of fire. Okay. We all watched the news back in the day. I mean, like about 6-7 months ago, on the Upper East Side, where a young lady basically hung out of a window from an upper floor in a high-rise residential building. And so it must have gotten so hot in that apartment where she had to make a choice, and she couldn't get out the front door. She couldn't get out the front door, and she had to basically, her choice was to hang out of the window, okay, and wait for us to get to her. We were because we couldn't reach her with the aerial ladder or the tower ladder. So we had to basically lower, we train with this stuff, okay, but it is a dangerous move. Okay, to lower a firefighter from to grab the person and to lower and to get them to a safe location on the lower floor. Okay, it's things we train in, but how many things can go wrong? How many things can go wrong, something like that? So it is a dangerous situation where hopefully with legislation, I mean, I remember the mayor signed like 5 bills, working with the fire department, our educational unit, which I'm on, to teach everybody about stuff. Enforcement, okay, like our friend said before, about call 311. Okay, see something, say something. If one of your neighbors, decides, especially if you live in an apartment building, and one of your neighbors decides that they really don't, they start charging their e-bikes or these, right in the hallway, impeding people from coming down. Okay, and risking the lives of the fellow tenants. You see something, say something. Okay. As far as going into somebody's apartment, I don't know how much we can do with that, I don't know how much the NYPD can do with that, or fire marshals, or fire prevention about going into somebody's, somebody's apartment and stuff like that. I'm not sure how that works. But maybe, if maybe, I don't know, consumer affairs, other agencies that overlook the sale of these things, of these products, maybe there could be a little enforcement on how to make them safer. Okay, we do teach people, yeah, you're gonna charge them, or if we're gonna leave them out, please don't leave them in direct sunlight where there's heat, okay, where they can explode. Or like I said, don't use an aftermarket charger, or please don't charge them inside your home, especially if that's the only way for you to get out. These things we talk about, we have videos. The other day in Astoria, and our unit, we conduct a fatal fire campaign where we have a big media truck, and we reach out to the community, a little community engagement, and let people know, even though they probably watch the news anyway, but let people know, hey, what happened, basically less than a half a mile from your home. Okay? 2 people died in a private house. Okay, well, the first floor, second floor, 2 people died, 19-year-olds and 7-year-olds died in a house fire. And the culprit was an e-bike battery. And, at that fatal fire campaign, we did set up, over on Steinway Street, okay, in 30th. And, a lot of our neighbors, they walk by and, they know the people, they know the children. And one young lady that came up to our table actually told us that she's the principal of the school of the 7-year-old that passed away. Okay, how devastating is that? How devastating is that? So, it does affect us all directly or indirectly. Okay. When we talk about fire safety, we talk about, like I said, prevention, of course, but we also talk about early detection. Early detection. And like I said, I gave you that number about the Sound Alarm program, all right, the 1877 number, Red Cross. Okay, that helps, with early detection when it comes to getting smoke alarms. But, unfortunately, with these batteries, sometimes, I'm not joking. I think sometimes all bets are off. Yeah, it's great to have a smoke alarm, but sometimes it just advances into a stage where, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, it's almost like having a bomb in the house. The smoke detector isn't going to do anything for a bomb. Unfortunately. But like we teach the kids in school about fire groups, you should have fire groups homes too. You should have plans. You should have plan. So know what type of building that you live in. Okay. Is it a private dwelling? 2 units or less? Is it a non-fireproof multiple dwelling, which is a combustible building where fire can spread from one apartment to another within minutes? All right. Usually those buildings are less than 75 feet tall. They have fire escapes. The outside might be brick, but the inside underneath the brick can be still old-fashioned wood. Okay. And fire can spread from one apartment to another. And it does have fire escapes. So when we talk about buildings like that, non-combustible buildings, non-fireproof, if fire is in your apartment, okay, fire is in your apartment, please try the best you can to get out. Okay, try the best you can to get out. If your room or the home itself is filled with smoke, stay low, get down low, get to a wall, because all walls lead to windows and doors. All walls lead to windows and doors. Now, before you open up one of the doors, feel it with the back of your hands, okay? Let me back up a little bit. The doors that you should be looking for are the exit doors, not the doors to the closet, okay? Not the doors to a closet or even a bathroom. So you bathroom has a full window, how you get out? Look for the door that leads to the exit. Unfortunately, and we've found this out over the years, okay, where we found people, they didn't, they tried their best to get out. They thought maybe hiding in a bathroom, going into a bathroom, or going into a closet was gonna help them, but unfortunately, the fatalities are usually caused by the smoke and the carbon monoxide, which is produced by the smoke, okay? You've probably all heard the term smoke inhalation. That's what that is. Okay, that's what that is. People do perish from smoke inhalation. All right. So now, know where every window and every door is in your home. Okay, any exit that you use, especially if that exit has a fire escape. Okay, don't put anything in front of that fire escape window, which could stop you from getting out. But also, don't put anything on top of that fire escape out the outside, because that'll stop some poor person trying to get out themselves from getting down. Okay? Or us trying to get up to get into your window to try to save you. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. All right. Now, if you get to the door which leads to the hallway, feel the door with the back of your hand. Even if and you think that fire is just in your apartment, they'll be on the outside, so I stretch your apartment also. So feel the door with the back of your hand. If it's not to the touch, okay, don't open up that door. There's fire on the other side. Use your alternate plan. Your fire escape window. Okay, your fire escape window. All right. If you feel the door with the back of your hands and it's not hot to the touch, open up the door slowly and look out into the hallway. And look out into the hallway. If the hallway looks like it's full of smoke or heat or fire, use your window. Now use your fire escape window. Okay. But if you think you can get out, this is a judgment wall. If you think you can get out, okay, and use those stairs, by all means, because by that time, hopefully the first engine company, because our main job is basically to extinguish the fire, to make sure that the staircase that leads out, that it's not impinged by fire or smoke, and then we'll basically be helping people to come out anyway at that moment. But what I don't want anybody to do is I don't want anybody to get into that elevator. All right, don't use the elevator during the fire in your building. And also, when you're leaving your apartment, please close the door. Close the door. Okay. So remember, close the door or have a self-closing door. Okay. To keep, because if the fire is in your apartment, keep the heat and smoke in that apartment to hold off, so it gives people a chance to get out. Okay. Don't use the elevator, because an elevator basically is in an elevator shaft, which is basically a chimney where smoke condenses it. Okay. and so could the heat and rise up and trap you in that elevator. All right. At the end of all this, while yourself and your family gets out safely, make sure that during our safety plan, we have a safe meeting location. Okay? Safe meeting location outside where we meet our whole family out there, or whoever lives with you, to make sure everybody's accounted for. Okay? Make sure everybody's accounted for, because one of the toughest things to do is to stop, say, an older sibling or parents, okay, or an aunt or whoever, to go back, to stop them from going back inside to look for you because they thought you were still in that fire building where you were outside safe and sound, but you weren't at your safe meeting location. So that's what we tell everybody during our safety plan, and at the end, have a safe meeting location and make sure everybody's accounted for, and use that during your fire. Okay. Other types of buildings, excuse me for 1 second, please. Thank you. Other types of buildings, usually they're over 75 feet high, usually they're considered high-rise residential. And they are usually, okay, they're called fireproof multiple dwellings, non-combustible buildings. All right, non-combustible, where it's built with cement walls, cement floors, cement ceilings. And they say that the fire won't spread from one apartment to another. Okay. I guess because of the cement, maybe a higher grade of sheetrock that's used. But unfortunately, some of these buildings were built a long time ago, and maybe where, you know, there's the ventilation vents, you know, HVAC vents, or electrical conduits, or maybe piping that goes from the basement to the roof. Okay, maybe that goes through. Unfortunately, because maybe whatever was used to stop the smoke might have gotten older and warm, so smoke can still spread, unfortunately. So, by all means, fire is in your apartment. As best as you can, try to get out. Okay, get to a safe part of the building. Right? Make sure you close that door. Close the door to make sure that the fire and the heat and the smoke stays in that apartment. Okay, stops it from going out into the hallway and upstairs. All right. If fire now, back up a little bit. Same thing. Like I said, close the door, but also don't get into that elevator. Okay. You know, more than likely the fire didn't spread into that elevator, well, you never know. And with these type of buildings, which are over 75 feet high, our tactics are basically to, if the fire is above, say, 10 stories, we're probably going to commandeer that elevator anyway. It's going to be firefighter service. So you're probably not going to be able to get to it anyway or use it. Okay. So, fire is not in your apartments. Okay. And fire is, the smoke is permeating into your apartment through maybe the HVAC system, the ventilation, maybe, you know, through the vents, or underneath the door. You can take wet towels and put it underneath the door. Okay, it'll stop the smoke. Also, with the vents, at your leisure, not the day of the fire, at your leisure, you can just take some metal, basically metal sheets, all right, with magnets on them. Put them against the vents, hopefully that can stop the smoke from permeating through, okay? Usually, I know with high-rise residential and high-rise commercial, we get to the scene, basically, one of the duties of, first responding truck companies is to basically with the building engineer. But most residential don't have building engineer, is to shut down the HVAC system, stop the spread from one part of the building to another. Unfortunately, some of these residential buildings, they don't have that luxury of having, a building engineer. So we're gonna have to figure it out ourselves on how to stop the spread of the fire from one part of the building to another. Okay. Like I said, no cases ever use the elevator. But if smoke is permeating into your apartment, okay, into your apartment, or if you're trapped in your apartment, okay, with the invention basically of the cell phone, right, you're trapped in basically your bedroom, you can't get out of your bedroom, let us know where you are. Let us know where you are, so it's a good idea. Like I said 5 minutes ago, don't sleep with your cell phone, but keep it next to your bed, okay? Just in case of emergency. Let us know where you are. All right, let us know where you are. And same thing with the other type of building too, the non-fireproof combustible building. If you're trapped in a certain room, okay, especially at night, if you have a flashlight, shine it outside the window, or wave something, but it's like risk versus reward. Wave something out the window because on your initial alarm, there's gonna be firefighters basically walking the perimeter of the building to see if anybody's in a bad way or trapped, where we could radio to the incident commander in the front. We might need some laddering over here, or if they're up high, and we gotta check on that, we can't get to them with the ladders. If we have to do a roof rescue, we will communicate that to the incident commander in the front, and we'll coordinate our efforts to help that person. It's a team effort. Like I said, with the use of the cell phone, we can basically communicate and get emergency personnel to you faster than back in the day when the only telephone was in your kitchen. And if you weren't in the kitchen and nobody called for you, unfortunately, I can leave tragic results. All right. Every apartment or unit in either a fireproof multiple dwelling or a non-fireproof multiple dwelling is supposed to have a fire safety plan, which is supposed to be given to you by either building management, landlord, whoever else that's in charge of the building. Okay. And it's supposed to actually tell you what to do. Like I said, it's supposed to say what type of building it is. It's also supposed to say what to do if fire is in your apartment or fire is not in your apartment. Okay. If anybody wants to actually have fire safety education, come to your building and maybe in a common area, okay? Or it could even be the lobby of the building, which we've done many a time. If you want us to come to your building, maybe you have a little, maybe if you want to start like a little tennis association, or at your house of worship, or senior centers, PTA meetings, after maybe the parents maybe drop the children off at school, we can respond after the children, because we never go to school to talk to the kids, but I always want to talk to the parents too. And if anybody wants to just linger around a little bit, okay, and we'll give a little bit of a lecture, and we usually do it in a couple of languages. We have Spanish speaking, firefighters also, and we have Asian speaking, so we can't translate. Yeah, depending on the demographic. Just give us a call, okay, and, I'll give one person the number, you can spread it out to everybody else, okay? The number, it's the Fire Safety Education Unit. All right, the number is 718-281-3870. That's the Fire Safety Education Unit. Oh, yeah, so you just posted it, fantastic, thank you. So the number is 718-281-3870. Or you could go onto everythingwatchsmart.org. Okay. And part of it will say if you want a presentation, and then you just fill in the blanks. Or you could, like I said, you call the 281 number. And we show up to all 5 boroughs of the city of New York. Okay. And during that presentation, we could actually give out the number for the 3 smoke alarms and the installation. All right. And we'll talk about different things. We'll talk about different things. We'll bring literature. We have literature in numerous languages. And also on FDNYSmart.org, actually, there's a drop down where we have general information in all different languages. Plus, we have videos on all different causes of fires. Okay? And it's a great learning tool. And that's what we're doing as part of education, fire safety education. I mean, now it's more in the forefront because of course the fatalities, but we've been always doing it. But it's very important. All right. I'm up for questions. If anyone wants to ask a couple of questions.
Thank you so much, FDNY. I do have, I guess, just 2 questions, and then I'll open up to committee and public. The first one, that fire extinguisher, is that big enough for an apartment, or is that only like for maybe this kitchen? Like how is that good to extinguish?
This one probably would be just big enough for the kitchen. Okay, big enough for the kitchen. If you want to purchase now, when you say apartment, now are you talking about basically saying the living room, maybe the couch is on fire or something like that?
Yeah,
I mean, we really. I mean, if the fire is small, basically, all these type of extinguishers, I don't know why they stopped categorizing it. It used to say how many square feet of a fire can be extinguished by a layperson, not a professional firefighter. There used to be a number on it where it actually would say that. I don't know why it stopped saying. I guess maybe there was lawsuits, and maybe somebody passed away where, it said I could fight a fire, but they unfortunately maybe they perished. And now their loved ones are blaming the company for putting that number on it. So we recommend if the fire, this is what I recommend is if the fire is in a waste paper basket, okay, and there's really no chance for it to spread out of that waste paper basket. Or if the fire is on top of your stove and you can get to it really quick from a safe location, by all means. By all means. But if it's spreading, get your family out. Don't take a chance. Get your family out and call 911. All right? That's the most important thing to do. Same thing with, if something happens, like in the living room, okay. Like on a couch or something, we don't expect people to fight their own fires. All right. 2 reasons. All right. One could be, first of all, the fire can spread a lot quicker. And second reason is also a lot of things in your home. All right. Like say, for instance, in your living room, leather couches, maybe there's foam inside that leather. Okay. Or things aren't just made of plain old wooden cloth anymore. These produce a lot of noxious fumes. Okay, a lot of noxious fumes where, you're fighting it, but you don't have you don't have the what's called self-contained breathing apparatus, which we put on our face. We're breathing, we're breathing air. We're breathing air while we're fighting this fire. And now you're in there trying to fight that. All right, you might knock it down, but you're also breathing in this noxious, and you know, it may not affect you right away, but who knows what's gonna happen 10 years down the line? You know, just to save the couch or something. Get out there, when we get through in 3 minutes, you know, we'll get in there, we'll put the fire out. Right? But that's why it's so important, okay, to have working smoke alarms. Okay, because they're early detection. Because we can basically get there when the fire is in the smaller stage, while you get your family out, then us, even though it might make a fantastic story, for us getting there, turning the corner, fire was ripping out of the front windows. You know, we're gonna have to stretch it, we're gonna have to stretch a couple of lines there. And unfortunately, there might be somebody still in there, or like I was talking before, people might lose their place to live. You know, because they just can't move right back in, right after them. Place is damaged. Hopefully that answered your question.
I'm sorry, I was muted there. And the last question, well, my second question was that we do have a few property owners that come to the committee and everything. Can they take their plan to their local FDNY to get it reviewed, or have them come say, okay, yeah, these are your proper exits? Is there a process to get your safety plan reviewed? Or
Well, the safety plan is supposed to be reviewed by basically the chiefs up at headquarters and who are assigned to safety plans. And they're supposed to be, basically what they're supposed to do is approve it. And then communicate with the landlord or the condo owner, whoever opened up this building. So, it's supposed to be actually done before, I believe, with the building, in conjunction with the buildings department. And, I think that's before they can actually issue a certificate of occupancy, make sure it's safe. So, that's basically, there is, I don't know exactly what it's for, but I guess it's probably the fire, the safety plan, for fire safety plans. I've heard that over the years, going to these type of tenant association meetings and basically a condo board, they want to know if our fire prevention unit goes and basically gives advice and stuff like that. But I think what they do is, if they see something, they might actually write up a violation. Okay, then somebody else at that condo board meeting actually said we can hire our own consultants that'll do a walk. We might have to spend a little money, but we can hire our own consultants that'll give us, basically tell us, give us advice and show us what we can do where you're not going to get a fine. Because we're consulting you. You're paying us, but by paying us, it's probably going to be a lot less than what the violation fine would be. So that's something we can basically discuss with the homeowner and the landlords.
Thank you so much. I think we do have one question from the committee member. If Chad, I'm not sure if you want to go ahead and ask a question.
Yes, hi, good evening. Thank you for a wonderful presentation, by the way.
You're welcome.
I do have a question. Does your safety unit, are these fire blankets? I don't know if you've seen some of these infomercials. Fire blankets widely used where if there's a fire in the kitchen, you can actually smother it, and then the fire will disappear.
I'm going to be honest, not to cut you off, but in the past 2 weeks, this is like the 5th question I've heard on fire blankets. And, where's everybody seeing these things?
It was a commercial. I don't remember where I saw it.
All right, so it was a commercial. Just
Right.
on TV.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and personally, it's not on our rig to use. I just had a question about that. Now, because I want to see these commercials myself, but Now, is the fire on a flat surface?
It would be on a stove or something, so
Okay.
maybe it's flat, maybe there's something on top of the flat surface.
Right. But does it completely cover the stove?
But that's what the commercial is
Right,
projecting.
so basically what they do is they show the perfect scenario.
Right.
There's nothing to go wrong. You know, because like basically, guys, if this is the stove, all this stuff is on top of the stove, right? Now it's all on fire. Okay, it's all on fire. Now
Right.
throw that blanket on top. Now, you know, it's not down flat, so can air get in there?
Well, that's part of the commercial. It whatever the blanket is made of is supposed to suffocate the
Really?
oxygen from spreading.
Like I said, this is like the fifth time I've heard this question. I'll have to discuss it with that chiefs and stuff like that, because I really can't recommend something like that, because I know absolutely nothing about these things. I mean, I can suggest, you know, a portable extinguisher like we usually do, where it'll get to all parts of the fire. I'm not sure if that'll get to the fire.
Yeah. If I can find it, I can forward the info to Victor.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like I'm not joking, you're like the fifth person in the past couple of weeks. That's what's my opinion on fire blankets? And, you know, basically, I mean, somebody might put it on themselves if, you know, instead of doing a stop, drop and roll, you know, if you basically slow it, you know, put the fire out, but like, to actually like rely on that to put the fire out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, usually these commercials, you know, let's show the perfect scenario where nothing will go wrong. You know?
Add if anything, I mean, I guess we'll hold off, I mean, until we get more information from why it's good to go. We don't want, you know, to use these that might have not been approved or reviewed yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your hand up, go ahead.
Nice. Very nice.
Mr. Guarino, you have a question? I know you have.
Yes, I want to say thank you. A very informative, educational safety. I want to thank you for that. But I have like a question. To your left, there's that silver tool there. Could you explain that to the community? Yes, that.
Well, my, just in case somebody's double parked in front of my car and I grab this thing.
Yeah.
This is basically a hydrant latch. How many people we have? What's nice is I think it was a gift to somebody. But basically what we do is we put this on top of the hydrant, on top of the nut, and so open up the hydrant. But
And the two tips on the top there, what do they do?
well, the two tips over here, usually it helps actually pick up. It's basically on the hydrant itself, it has a 2.5-inch cap and a 4.5-inch cap. Okay, and what it'll do is basically help us, like, basically, if we, you know, one of the fly like has a bad back and they can't really basically bend over, they can basically pick it up with the tip. But it does look like a bottle opener, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen one of those in years.
I know, but these things are, I mean, during the summer months, these things are so valuable. All right, especially for the older hikers, everybody basically is, you know, they didn't have the luxury of having their own pool or community pool, so they don't know how to wear these things. And sometimes, you know, if we had our rig parked and we, you know, basically an absent-minded firefighter, after they open up the hydrant, left it on top of the hydrant, and sometimes it would be missing afterwards. And then, you know, we were trying to figure out what block we lost it on when during the summer they were the only block that had the hydrant basically going for the kids. Yeah. Or somebody's washing their car.
Thank you. And then quick question, if the public wants to get flyers for more information, can they call that fire safety education flyers for their buildings or anything?
Well, what they can do is, I mean, on the computer at NYSmart.org, they go online, like I said, we have literature in all different languages, but if, like I said, we'll attend tennis association meeting that day, and we'll show up and we'll give a lecture. It's not an official association, just basically some of the names where we'll want to come down into the hallway or the lobby, and we can all talk about fire safety education. And then it kind of puts like a personal touch also to it, where, because in everybody's busy lives and stuff, they don't get to see their neighbors. They may leave their house at 6 o'clock in the morning and get home after dark, so they don't really know who their neighbors are. But like maybe one day they get home from work a little bit earlier, and now we have a meeting in the hallway, and that person that unfortunately smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, and they're careless, they can actually see, hey, something? This might not only affect me, but it might, especially in a non-fireproof building, this may not affect me, but this might affect my next neighbors who I just met at the meeting, all right, that has the 4 and 5-year-old, and this could affect them also, so maybe it kind of puts a personal touch to it, like we were saying before, get to know your neighbors and stuff. We're all in this together, in emergencies and everything,
Understood. Yeah, that personal touch is great. That's a good way to collaborate and meet your neighbors as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any additional questions. We want to thank you again for coming and doing this presentation. It's very informative.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And we'll make sure to share the information so that way buildings, tenants, neighbors can request these sort of safety huddles and education. Again, thank you so much.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Everybody, please stay safe. And like I said, give us a call. We'll come to your building. We work on the weekends every day. Every day. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. So I guess if we can continue where our agenda for this evening, I know we're a little over time. I do want to open it up to the Bronx District Attorney's Office, see if there's any updates or any information they'd like to share with the public.
So good evening, everyone. Happy Passover, happy Easter, happy Ramadan. If you celebrate, if you don't celebrate, just want to say good evening. Thank you for giving me this brief minute. On Saturday, April 15th, our office will be hosting its 6th annual Child Safety Fair over at the YMCA, which is located over by the Baychester houses. I'll make sure to send the community board the flyer. On Wednesday, April 19th, our office is collaborating with Hostos Community College and a Welcome Home Reentry Resource Fair. This fair is for those individuals who have been impacted by the criminal justice system, and particularly those who are returning back from the prison system into the community. There's going to be food, resources, some poetry, and a great panel discussion. On Saturday, May 20th, we'll be hosting our first annual Youth Summit. It's going to be on Saturday over at Scan Harbor, which is located at Malali Park. Once the flyer has been approved, I'll make sure to provide that flyer as well to the community board. Once again, my name is Carlos Torres. I'm the crime prevention coordinator at the Bronx District Attorney's Office. I'll put my I'll put my contact information in the chat box. Thank you for your time. If anybody has any questions, please, feel free to ask. Thank you to the FDNY, great presentation, and to the men and women of the 52nd Precinct. Stay safe.
Thank you, Carlos. If you can send over that information once you have the flyers ready to BX Community Board 7 so they can send out an email blast, that would be great.
I'm going to do that right now.
Thank you, Carlos. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I would like to open and see if we have any representation from OEMS this evening. Yep. Great. So with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for this evening. I know it was a little long, but it was very helpful information. Please share with your neighbors. Can I get a second to conclude this evening's meeting?
I second that, Samantha.
Thank you. You have a good evening. And again, Happy holidays to all those celebrating this week. Have a good evening. Take care.
Good evening.
Have a good evening.